Welcome to a presentation that I just gave at the International Holistic Health Association down in Nashville, Tennessee. This presentation is on why light and sleep are more important than food and movement. So whenever you hear people talk about calories in, calories out being the number one thing that you have to do to lose weight or to gain muscle, it is not actually calories in versus calories out. And I'm going to show you exactly in this presentation why that myth is false. Not that you can eat more and weigh less and that you never have to do movement, but that sleep and light are more important than worrying about food, diet, and exercise first. So first of all, I think this is something most people have no idea, that over 100 million people in the US, that's 30% of us as adults, don't get enough sleep at night. And in fact, if you look at the definition of insomnia that's up on the screen, I would say most people that are watching this right now can resonate with one of these definitions of insomnia, specifically either waking up too early, waking up multiple times during the night, or feeling tired and groggy during the day. Those are all definitions of insomnia, and most people had no idea. Now, 30% or 100 million people use sleep aids to fall asleep each night, mostly over the counter and prescription. And if anyone is aware of what the number one sleep aid is that people in the US use to get to sleep, take a guess. It's alcohol. That's actually the number one way that people get to sleep. So obviously, with this many people using sleep aids, and I would say more than 100 million people falling under the definition of insomnia, we are not getting enough sleep. And it's largely due to the light that we're exposed to before bed and the light that we're not exposed to first thing in the morning. Now, if you knew that not getting enough sleep leads to obesity, making you really hungry, impotence, hypertension, cancer, and having a bad heart, if you were to see this quote, we could probably end the presentation right here. So not getting enough sleep and getting the wrong type of light makes you fat, hungry, impotent, hypertensive, and cancerous with a bad heart. Probably all you need to know, but some people then want to know, well, what the heck do I do about it? Now, I would say most people are very predictable. When in 1998, the head of the National Institute of Health that was studying circadian rhythmicity was asked, quote, does the public have a right to know that artificial light at night and lack of sleep increases our craving for sugar, alcohol, nicotine, and increases diabetes, cancer, infertility, mental illness, and premature aging? The head of the NIH said, yes, the public has a right to know. They should be told, but nobody will change anything. No one will ever turn out the lights. And this is because of somebody who is not your friend named Alan, which stands for artificial light at night. And artificial light at night has been associated with, in numerous studies, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, and cancer at studies performed through the National Institute of Health. So stop being as predictable as the NIH thinks you are and turn out your lights. You don't necessarily have to turn out all your lights. There's a way to have light at night and not have diabetes, obesity, cancer, and heart disease. First, we need to learn a little bit about sleep. There's actually two phases of sleep, and I hear people all the time tell me that they're night owls. And that just means they get more energy at night than they do during the day, and they think by staying up late at night, getting things done when they have energy, it's better for them because that's what their physiology lets them do. The problem is humans, or men and women, are not mice and rats or owls. Mice, rats, and owls are nocturnal biologically. Men and women are not nocturnal biologically. We're diurnal, which means we need to be awake and alert during the day and asleep at night. So even if you think you're a night owl, you're working against your own biology and ruining your health, especially over the long term. And that's why shift work, defined as being exposed to artificial light at night, like people that work second and third shift, is a human carcinogen, according to the World Health Organization. In fact, it's a type 2 probable human carcinogen in the same category as benzene and lead. So knowing that, When we sleep, there's two phases of sleep. And if you are a night owl, you're likely not getting the deep phase of sleep because it tends to occur between 9 p.m. and midnight. So when you go to bed after midnight, you tend to lose the physical repair, the anti-aging portion of our sleep phase. Now, REM sleep is kind of the other phase of sleep that is well studied. There's really more than two phases of sleep, but there's two that we focus on. REM is called rapid eye movement. It's when we dream. It tends to occur early in the morning between usually 2 a.m. and 5 a.m. And it helps us do psychological repair and consolidation of memory. So if we're missing out on these two phases of sleep, we are not going to physically repair and rejuvenate our body, and we're not going to consolidate our memories, meaning we don't remember as much. Now, what most people don't know is sleep, and specifically this hormone called melatonin, control 10 separate hormones. So if you're not getting enough sleep, and more importantly, you're not producing melatonin, then these hormones that control appetite, what we're hungry for, fat storage, how and when we store fat, our mental health, our heart health, our reproductive cycles, all repair and rejuvenation, the telomerase stimulation. So telomerase lengthens our telomeres, which makes us stay younger longer. These all happen in conjunction with getting melatonin to be released during sleep. The problem is when we're exposed to artificial light at night, we're not producing melatonin. Well, we actually still produce melatonin, but we're not releasing the melatonin to get all these benefits. And that's because of this thing called circadian rhythm, which really just means the light and dark cycles of where we live on the Earth. So whether you believe in the round ball Earth like I'm showing here, or you believe in flat Earth or hollow Earth or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It gets dark and it gets light, and our biology is tuned to those cycles. And when it is dark, we are supposed to release melatonin from all of the cells in our body, specifically signaled through the pineal gland by no light through the eye, or at least one specific wavelength of light being absent. And as we do this, we're signaled to repair and rejuvenate our bodies. And so as the pineal gland receives the signal of darkness through the eye, no light, we start to release these compounds, these hormones, and we start to repair, rejuvenate the body. This is why when we get specific types of light through the eye, we won't reproduce. So people that have what they say is infertility, sometimes we just need to adjust the light. Sometimes we need to adjust the Wi-Fi and the cell phones too, but many times it's the light. And in fact, most mammals will not and cannot get pregnant in the winter because that would be the wrong time to give birth because there's lack of food. Animals are hibernating or sleeping or slowing down. And that's all signaled by the light through the eye. In fact, in 1971, circadian rhythm and its impact on health was so important that not to realize one has a circadian structure is analogous to going through life ignorant that you have heart and lungs. And in 2017, the Nobel Prize in Medicine was given to 3 researchers who showed that circadian rhythm has a massive impact on human health. And that's because when we see light, but not just any light, in fact, it's blue wavelengths of light. You can see that there's many wavelengths of visible light that we all see. But when we see the blue wavelength of light after dark, not just any time during the day, but specifically after the sun sets, we will not release melatonin. In fact, you can see LED lights is what the top chart is. It's a cell phone, but it could be a tablet, it could be a laptop, it could be your overhead lights. Since they banned incandescent lights in our country, we can now only use LED lights. And those LED lights have huge spikes of blue light, and you're more than not removing 80% of your melatonin production for the whole night. So you reduce your melatonin by 80%. This is the master anti-cancer hormone in the body, and it's responsible for controlling these 10 other hormones. Now those hormones get chaotic because they lose their master control, which is melatonin, because we suppressed it for most of the night. And that just means like you can see these lights somewhere before bed. It stops the melatonin production for up to 4 hours after you turn the light out. So don't just think like, oh, I just turned all the lights out, because you've had the lights on. Let's say the sun set at 4 or 5 p.m., maybe 6 p.m., and you had the lights on until 11 p.m. and then turn them out. Well, now you don't get melatonin produced until 4 a.m., and that's when melatonin is stopping being produced because you're about to wake up and get an injection of cortisol. And you can't have melatonin present when there's cortisol. They're asynchronous. So if there's lots of cortisol or high cortisol, there's low melatonin. When melatonin raises, we reduce cortisol. We don't want to be stressed and awake and alert when we go to sleep. You'll also notice that even incandescent lights, even though they have a much better lighting profile with less blue light, you're still giving up nearly 50% of your nightly melatonin. Where firelight, you get pretty much all the melatonin. And if you can imagine, we've been exposed through all of human history to firelight and moonlight after sunset with no other lights until about the 1920s. So our bodies are tuned biologically to this firelight and moonlight and still producing melatonin. But today we string these lights all around our homes that save energy, they save money, but they destroy our health. Here's just another thing showing that insulin resistance and diabetes can be caused just by the light we're exposed to at night. And in fact, some of these studies show that when you take a supplement or a prescription medication at the wrong time of the day, it will harm you instead of heal you, all based on circadian rhythm. And so this actually shows doctors should be telling you when to take your medication, not just what to take. In fact, I don't think you should be taking much medication from doctors. If you can figure out how to do this via lifestyle, instead of taking medication or supplements. However, if you are taking medication or supplements, the timing of it matters big time. This is the major study showing you why the myth of calories in, calories out is completely untrue. These two mice ate, they were studied in a lab, they were in a controlled condition, and they ate the exact same number of calories. They exercised exactly the same amount, and they expended the same number of calories. The mice are the same age. They had the same exact diet, and they did the same exercise on a hamster wheel every single day. The only difference between these two mice, so remember, same calories in, same calories out. The only difference was the fat mouse was exposed to 24 hours a day of light. The mouse that is a normal weight had 12 hours a day of darkness in order to produce his melatonin or her melatonin and to control obesity, diabetes, heart disease, all these other things. In fact, mice that get darkness and can sleep for 9.5 hours are unable to get cancer, even in a laboratory trying to give them cancer. So imagine all of us who get way less than 9.5 hours of sleep and are getting exposed to light, because even in our bedrooms, we usually have night lights and LED lights and charging lights and all these things. Even those dim lights have been shown through numerous studies to impact our weight. So women that slept in a bedroom with a really dim nightlight had more weight. They gained more weight than women who slept in a dark bedroom with no light. So again, this is all based on the light switch, which is generated through the eye into the SCN, which is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. The suprachiasmatic nucleus is the body's clock. Every cell and organ in our body has a clock, and those clocks are set through the SCN. The SCN, when it sees darkness or no blue light, tells the pineal to release melatonin at night. But we're all shutting that mechanism down because we're looking at our phones, we're reading on our tablets, we have just normal overhead lights. Now that we switched everything to LEDs, we have those overhead lights turned on, and that is destroying our melatonin. And again, for up to 4 hours after we turn those lights out. So of course, most of us are doing this right before we go to bed, and that LED light from your screen is causing chaos. In 2018, even the American Medical Association put out a warning letter stating that LED streetlights, because of the white blue light from the LED streetlights, will harm human health. So even if you're looking at mainstream medical, has reviewed the studies and says that this type of light is harmful, because we would have seen moonlight and firelight for all of our history, and that's how our biology is tuned. But when we light up the night as if it was the middle of the day, this is New York City, and I kid you not, it is midnight in this photo. And you can see every detail of everything everywhere, and yet it should be the middle of the night. It is the middle of the night, but it doesn't look like it. So you can see that I'm doing something here special that no one else appears to be doing in the photo, protecting my melatonin. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. Because for all of human history, we would have sat around firelight after dark and told each other stories. Today, we sit around a blue lit television screen and let others program us through the stories they want us to know about. So, National Toxicology Program published on the National Institute of Health's website, our own US government, that there's a relationship between shift work because of the light at night and cancer. Again, nighttime use of screens significantly reduced health in young people, parents, teachers, health professionals, for adolescents that are utilizing these technologies all night long before they wake up. In addition to the light we're exposed to, we have to think about the invisible light we're exposed to. Remember, everything that comes from the sun is light. Some of it's invisible, and we're aware of ultraviolet that can give us a tan or a sunburn, and it's invisible, but it can also create hormone or vitamin D in our blood from our skin from invisible light. There's another invisible light that we've put all around us, and that light is carcinogenic. It affects our sleep, and it has been associated with cancer in over, I'd say, thousands of studies at this point. In fact, there's 5,500 peer-reviewed studies already published showing that Wi-Fi, cell phone signals, and Bluetooth have an effect on our biology and our sleep. So this is just a really quick example of color-coded studies. Those 5,500 studies are color-coded into whether they affect our psychological functioning, our sleep. They can cause cancer. These studies are color-coded in a way that really help you identify which one you might want to be looking at. And the power density that those studies were done at were such that you could give, let's just say, a rat, you could strap a Wi-Fi emitting device to the belly of a rat, the abdomen of a rat, for 15 minutes a day with the same intensity of a cell phone or an iPad or a tablet or a laptop for 2 weeks. So for 14 days, those rats spent 15 minutes with a tablet strapped to their abdomen, and they reduced their ability to reproduce by 75%. That was only 15 minutes a day. And we give kids basically these infertility pads called tablets and Chromebooks in our schools. We give them to them from kindergarten on. They sit with them in their laps. And not only does it affect their sleep, their behavior, but also their reproductive years. And yet, most of us complain that we don't get enough sleep or enough quality sleep, and we're leaving the lights on all night. We're exposing ourselves to the wrong type of light at night, and then we're sleeping next to our cell phone, which is never turned off. So what do we do about it all? Number one, it seems obvious, but if you spent 5 years like I did studying quantum physics, going deep dive down the rabbit hole with a number of medical doctors and looking at piles, and I'm not joking, I had 3-foot piles of research next to my bed I would read every single night. The answer is really simple. Number one, get outside at dawn within 30 minutes of sunrise without glasses, sunglasses, or contacts. Look in the direction of the sun. If the sun rises at a specific time during the day, but you can't see it, you just need to be outside. You do not need to stare at the sun. I don't recommend anybody stare at the sun, but getting your eyes in sunlight at dawn has magical powers. In fact, it's associated with better sleep at night, and it's associated with better health outcomes. People who get more sun have less causes of death. So people have less all-cause mortality the more sun they get, which means they die less from any cause, literally just by getting more sun. In fact, people that work outdoor jobs have less skin cancer than people that work indoor jobs. You can look that up. Next, if you're going to be working on your laptop long into the night, it definitely needs to have a screen filter on it. You can get Iris, which I recommend. Iris is a really good way to filter the blue light. Remember, it's the blue wavelength of light that shuts down melatonin. So Iris can remove all the blue light or just some of the blue light. You need to remove all the blue light when the sun sets or after the sun sets. Iris can do some of that. It'll turn red if it removes all the blue light. So this is sort of a half solution unless you turn your screen red like this, which most people aren't going to do. This is showing how an iPhone can turn the screen red, and it's not really turning the screen red. What it has done here on the right is it's removed all the blue color from the screen of the iPhone. Everybody's iPhone screen can do this. It can do it with a click of one button. You just need to set it up in your settings. You can find that on YouTube. This is not one of my videos, but someone else, I mean, you can find it just about anywhere. People showing you how to take out the blue on your iPhone, which you could do this after the sun sets if you don't want any blue light coming from your device. You could also use firelight in your home or candlelight, which most people are not going to do, or you could use red light or some combination thereof, because remember, it's the blue wavelength of light that stops melatonin, and this is red light only. So we're not destroying our melatonin. However, you'll notice in this photo, most people are still wearing blue light blocking glasses because at some point, somebody's going to open the refrigerator and grab something to drink or look at their phone. So the next thing you can do is wear sunglasses indoors at night rather than outside during the day. Remember, when we wear sunglasses outside during the day, the body has no idea how much ultraviolet is coming from the sun because we have neuropsin receptors to read the UV from the light through our eye, but we block the UV from ever hitting our eye, so the brain never signals the body that there's UV in the light, and we get burned far more easily. If we took our sunglasses off, we could read how much ultraviolet was in the sun. We could produce melanin. Instead of burning, we would tan because our body has the ability to read the ultraviolet in the sunlight. Now, during the night, after the sun sets, indoors is when we should be wearing our glasses, but we should be wearing blue light blocking glasses that just block the blue wavelength of light from entering our eye, and therefore we don't destroy our melatonin after sunset. The other thing we can do is we can stop eating after dark. Remember, never feed a mogwai after dark because they turn into a gremlin. Well, your body, after the sun sets, because of the circadian rhythm that we are tuned into, your cells want to rest, digest, and repair during the nighttime phase. In fact, when the sun is out, there's a really strong electric field on our Earth. That electric field keeps us awake and alert and gives us energy. At night, when the sun sets, we experience a higher magnetic field. That magnetic field from the Earth repairs and rejuvenates the body. The problem is most of us don't live close enough to the Earth. We're on the second floor, the third floor, the 20th floor. So we don't get the benefit of the Earth's magnetic field. And in fact, the Earth's magnetic field has been dropping for the last 50 or so years. Our cells want to repair during the night, but if we fill them full of food right before bed, they have to start putting those calories, they have to start putting that nutrition somewhere. It has to be digested. And that's not what the body wants to spend energy on at night. It wants to spend energy repairing itself while we sleep. And if we eat after dark, studies have shown that we gain weight faster than when we stop eating after dark. It's really easy, remember, rest and digest while we're eating, to put your phone in airplane mode. If you want to assimilate the nutrients that you're eating during the day at your meals, being exposed to Wi-Fi, cell phone signals, and Bluetooth while you eat is stressful to the body and makes it harder to digest the food. Same thing when you go to sleep at night. You don't want to be stressed. You don't want these cancerous Wi-Fi signals running through your body, so put your phone on airplane mode when you go to bed. Your phone will still work as an alarm clock. No, you're not going to get any phone calls. If you're a doctor on call or somebody's expecting a baby, those are the only times when your phone should be on, and it should not be near your head. It should be outside your bedroom door, ringing loud enough that it'll wake you up so you can hear it. Finally, you can track your sleep. So you don't know how much some of these things are affecting you until you really track your sleep. And you'll notice that when you turn the Wi-Fi router off at night in your home, you'll get better and deeper sleep. When you stop sleeping with your cell phone under your head turned on, and you start putting it in airplane mode and putting it on the nightstand and using it as your alarm clock and then looking at your messages after you wake up, you will get better sleep. And this famous quote from the book Lights Out, based on getting enough sleep, is saying that you should, and this is specifically for the winter. In the summer, the sun's out later. We don't need as much sleep in the summer, and we need more sleep in the winter, just like all the other animals and even the plants. When we don't need an 8 hours of sleep every night average. We need less sleep in the summer, more in the winter, and that is probably healthier than just getting an average amount of 8 hours every single night. all year round. We don't do the same things in the summer that we do in the winter. The same is true with our sleep. And during the winter, we should be trying to sleep as much as possible without getting fired or divorced in order to repair and rejuvenate the body from any damage we did during the summer. The problem is most of us are keeping the lights on all the time, tricking the body into thinking it's the middle of summer, in the middle of the day, all year round, and the body can't keep up with producing those hormones to meet those demands. It never gets a chance to rest, digest, and repair itself. So if you want to get something different, you have to do something different. Put on the glasses, put your phone into airplane mode, dim the lights, and get more sleep. Don't be like everyone else. If you want to exit the matrix of insidious healthcare, endless prescriptions, making you a healthcare customer for life of the system, you need to do something different. All of this research is mainstream. All of it is in the public. Anybody can review it. It's all there to see that these blue light blocking glasses block the blue wavelength of light, allow melatonin to be produced during the night, and that using your devices and having overhead lights on after the sun has set is destroying your health if you're not blocking the blue light. It is really simple for you to go out to Amazon and buy a $15 pair of blue light blocking glasses, or go to your favorite blue light glass vendor and buy a more expensive pair that maybe look a little nicer. But honestly, just get a $15 pair, try it out at home for 2 weeks, track your sleep, and see what happens. I guarantee you, when you block blue light, not only will you get more sleep, you'll get deeper sleep, which repairs and rejuvenates the body, but literally just getting sunlight in the morning and wearing blue light blocking glasses at night can help you lose weight. And I say that as a known fact based on the literature and based on a friend of ours who needed to lose 40 pounds. He did everything right. He got his diet right. He was into biohacking. He did everything and literally couldn't lose the weight until he started going outdoors and seeing the sunrise. After 2 weeks of seeing the sunrise, he started losing weight. And after 6 weeks, he had lost 40 pounds. And the only thing he did different was see the morning sunrise and wear blue light blocking glasses at night. Trust me, this can be a very effective health practice, and it is really inexpensive. Most of these things are completely free. Comment below on what you think about wearing these glasses and how maybe they have helped you, or any questions you may have about light. If you want something different, you have to do something different.